Hello, passengers, co-pilots, shotgun callers, blunderbuss bellowers, and midnight riders. Welcome to another episode of Full Moon Empty Road. As always, I'm Jeremy, and I'll be your driver tonight. Hope everybody had a great week, and I hope you're ready for another road trip. We're headed one state over to Lexington, Kentucky. Our destination is going to be the Loudoun House. So I wanted to start out by giving a little backstory on why I chose the Loudoun House and why I chose a destination in Lexington, Kentucky to begin with. So a little over a year ago, a young man from Kentucky named Keaton passed away. Keaton was the front man of the band Too Close to Touch. They were based out of Lexington, Kentucky. Now, he wasn't a friend of mine or anything, but I was a very, very big fan of the band. We actually, me and my brother, a few of us went down to the Masquerade in Atlanta a few years back, and that was right around the time they were just starting out. They had opened for Hands Like Houses, and I believe I the Mighty was at that show that night too. It was a wonderful show. We actually got to hang out with the guys from Too Close to Touch after the show. We bought a CD, they signed a poster, all that great stuff. We talked to them for a good 30 or so minutes. Super nice guys. Keaton was just every one of them were a joy to be around, but Keaton was such a nice guy. I think they had actually had to pull him aside. He was talking to some other people, and they're like, "Hey man, these guys bought an album, and we've all signed the poster that we gave them, so go ahead and we're just waiting on your signature and your autograph or whatever." And so I hand the guy the CD, and I'm like, "Here man, you can just use that way you've got a hard surface to write on." He's like, "Nah bro, you're gonna turn around." He said, I'm gonna put the poster against your back and sign on it." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." But so we got to hang out with him for a little while. Super nice guys. And last year, reading that he had passed away, I absolutely hated that, because they were such good guys. And such great musicians. But I'm rambling now, and I apologize for that. But that's kind of why I wanted to choose something, because it was in March of last year that he passed away, and I just got to thinking. I was like, I kind of want to give something, in honor to them. So what better thing to do? I mean, I do a podcast about scary stuff. So what better thing to do than spotlight a location in their hometown? So, in honor of him, let's do an episode based out of Lexington, Kentucky. And this will be a fairly short episode. While the building has been around for a while, there wasn't too much information on the place. So, it's going to be a short episode, but let's get in. Let's buckle up, grab the rock salt, and let's ride. We have work to do. The Loudoun House was designed by New York architect Alexander Jackson Davis and built by John McMurtry. The house was built in 1851 for Francis Key Hunt, who was named after his mother's cousin, Francis Scott Key. And Francis Key Hunt lived from 1817 to 1879. The Loudoun House is considered one of the largest and finest examples of Gothic Revival architecture in the state. The home was built on 50 acres of land given to Hunt and his wife, Julia Warfield, by her parents upon their marriage. Following the death of his father during a cholera epidemic, Hunt inherited more than $1 million and set to building the Loudoun House, inspired by the W.C.H. Waddell Mansion in Murray Hill in New York City. Hunt wrote to A.J. Davis, who designed a castellated Gothic Revival villa for Hunt after a brief correspondence. Hunt hired Lexington builder John McMurtry to construct the home. The project was expected to cost $10,000, but wound up costing 3 times that amount and taking 4 years to complete. He named the home Loudoun in honor of the song The Bells of Loudoun, and that was one of his wife's favorite songs. The Loudoun House is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. It is one of the 5 surviving castellated Gothic Revival villas designed by Davis in the United States. The house currently houses the Lexington Art League, and the following comes from nps.gov. One interesting feature of the place is the half tunnel. It circles the main foundation of the house to eliminate moisture from the footings of the walls and give them added stability. A gymnasium was also added to the rear of the house, and some of the porches have been removed, but its sense of picturesque romanticism still remains. Now, as far as hauntings go, there are a few that have been reported. According to KentuckyHauntedHouses.com, there are 2 female spirits that have been spotted there. One of them has been seen in the western part of the mansion. The other has been seen in the formal dining room. And both of the female apparitions that have been spotted have been reportedly seen wearing Victorian-style clothing. Another sighting is that of a black cat that's been seen wandering all over the mansion. And, aside from black cats and women dressed in Victorian garb, people have also reported hearing voices and old-timey music. Witnesses have also reported catching a phantom scent of a floral perfume in one of the rooms. Now, as for the 2 women, there is a belief that one of the ghostly figures spotted around the estate is the wife of Francis Key Hunt, the original owner of the place, who was mentioned during the historical rundown. When Hunt died, his wife Julia had to sell the place and move in with her daughter and son-in-law. And if you recall, the house's name came from the title of Julia's favorite song, The Bells of Loudoun. So it makes sense that her spirit may still be walking the grounds of the place that she so loved. I mean, she loved the place, and it was named after her favorite song. And, it sounds like, according to the story, she had to give the place up after Francis passed away. So I could definitely see if there is a female figure walking around there, I could definitely see it being her, since it sounds like she kind of had to give it up because she had no other choice. As for the second apparition, some tend to believe that she is most likely a servant that still hangs around in the afterlife looking after guests. And me personally, I would have to think that's probably a residual haunting, because I don't know about you, but once I'm gone, I'm not going to continue working. Once I once I take a good old-fashioned dirt nap, I'm not going to show up at my job anymore. And I get it, there's belief that people who, spirits do tend to return to the things that they knew, and it becomes residual. There's residual hauntings and intelligent hauntings, but I don't see myself personally being the type of person to croak and then say, well, time to go work. Now, if I had some kind of ghostly podcast or something, that'd be pretty cool. But my regular 9 to 5, nah, we're not going back there. Anyway, that pretty much covers the Loudoun House. Like I said, it's going to be a pretty short episode. I just kind of wanted to get this one out there in honor to Mr. Keaton Pierce. And, I had actually heard of the Loudoun House. I didn't know a lot about it, but it's one of those that I had heard of. So I was like, well, let's look into that. And it looked promising, and then I was like, well, it doesn't look like it has too much information on it. I mean, it's an old house, but kind of sounds like one family owned the place up until I guess that's not going to make any sense if I say that one person, one family owned the place up until they moved and someone else took over. Of course, that's how it works. Anyway, I do appreciate you guys showing up today. This is going to be the first newly recorded History and Hauntings episode going up on the YouTube channel. And yeah, I have a YouTube channel now. So go subscribe. And if you are currently a subscriber to the YouTube channel and you haven't, feel free to go on Spotify and follow the podcast there as well. And if you're on the go, that's a great way to listen to any of these stories that you want to hear, any of these History and Hauntings episodes, any of the Dark Words, Dark Things, or any of the stories from the road. So, if you're on the go and you still want to listen to me ramble away, hit up Spotify. It's Full Moon Empty Road there. I'm also on social media. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at FMER Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Full Moon Empty RD. And you can follow me on TikTok at Full Moon Empty Road. Now, I've not been too active on TikTok here lately, mainly because I don't really have a lot to offer TikTok in terms of my content, because this is audio only. Now, there may be a day where, I start doing like fan call-in shows that get recorded or something. I would like to do that, but I would also like feedback on whether or not anyone would be interested in that. And also, I have the Full Moon Empty Road Summer t-shirt line up, so that's on Bonfire. You can find all these links on YouTube in the, in the bio is what they call it. You can follow all the social medias. You can find Bonfire. Also, you're more than welcome to go and buy me a coffee. I started one of those as well. But again, everybody, I appreciate you stopping in today, and hope you enjoy the episode, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Let's go home.